to talk about the Warriors, who finished 12th last year with a win-loss of 8-16.
Yeah, look, 8-16, finished 12th, fourth worst offense, fifth worst defense, right? So finished around about where their stats, reflected. So had a, of course they had a disrupted season, right? Because, COVID screwed everyone around, but certainly for them being based out of Australia for the year, which would have been difficult. In the end, RTS left to go home earlier, right, having signed to play Super Rugby or whatever that stupid game is called. But then after he left, they went on a bit of a run and looked like they might have had a chance to sneak into the top 8, but failed at the end. Right? So this year, going to be another tough year for them, right? They're playing out of Sunny Coast and Redcliffe stadiums, so not out of New Zealand, and that's going to be, you got to think that's difficult, especially people with families, kids in school, all that sort of stuff, right? So ins and outs, mate. Ins and outs for the Warriors.
Yeah, lots of outs. They've lost both their big wingers who have played for years and years, David Fusitu'a and Ken Mamalu. They were on the decline, but gee, they were big boys and they were always good at returning the ball. RTS retiring, massive. That's huge. But they did find a good young kid, Reece Walsh. Like you say, he needs to keep his nose clean, but look, he'll be a good player. They lost Chad Townsend, obviously, but he was only a lone player. And their flea that ended up making them play with 12 half the season was Kane Evans, who has just disappeared into the abyss. So what have they got
Where he deserves to be. Yeah. What have they got to replace him? Sweet fuck all. Right, really. I mean, they've signed Sean Johnson to come back. It's like Back to the Future, right? So, they're hoping he's the Sean Johnson of 10 years ago, but sorry, guys, if you haven't been watching how he's been going for the Sharks the last few years, right? So, look, he's been okay for the Sharks, but he just, look, I mean, it's a bit like watching Benji play, you remember how good they were as opposed to where they are now.
Yeah.
But, they're going to struggle, I think, right? He's Sean Johnson will be a good addition for them, but their halves they lack class, right? And through most of the lineup, other than their front rowers, who are both pretty good players, the rest is, a bit of toilers, right? So I think they're going to do it a bit tough, especially with Tohu Harris out for the first part of the year too. So I've got them 11th to 14th, but maybe a little too high.
Yeah, I'm right on with you there, and I think perhaps maybe even slip into 15th. Yeah, it just depends, but yeah, I feel for them. Like 3 years in a row where they're playing away from home, that's got to be hard. So, look, good luck to your Warriors, and maybe I'll slip down to my local venue, the Redcliffe Dolphins field, and catch a game when you're there.
Absolutely, we should support the Warriors.
That's it.
Go, boys.